It's Q&A time. Hey YouTube, IB Figs here. In our last video, I asked you all to send in your questions in the comments section, and today I'm here to answer all of your questions. And at the end of the video, I will get to the winners of the giveaway contest. But for right now, let's get started with the questions. Now, thank you to those of you who asked questions. There are some really good questions in there. They're going to require a lot of thinking on my part. So my apologies if I make any cuts at any point in this. I don't want this video to drag on too long. I want to keep a good flow going. I'm going to start from the bottom and work my way up. First questions came from my good friend Morgan. His first question: what is the best moment of the year in terms of AEW/WWE? Now, this is going to relate to another question that I was asked, and I'll address it later on. This year in wrestling, there's been so much going on. It's been really hard to keep up to the point where I haven't been fully watching the weekly shows for probably at least the second half of 2019. Oh yeah, I'll get into it later on. So I don't feel qualified enough to answer that question, but in terms of what I've seen this year, the last thing I really enjoyed while I was still watching was Undertaker's return to help out Roman Reigns against Shane McMahon and Drew McIntyre. So I probably have to say that just for the stuff that I've seen this year. That is a very good question though. And his second question: thoughts on AEW and their talent. I've seen the AEW pay-per-views that they've done so far, and I've been really impressed. I haven't watched their weekly shows since it costs money on Fight TV, since they don't have it on TV over here in New Zealand as of now. But with their pay-per-views, I've been really impressed. Some really good talent there. I think NXT has a run for their money to try to keep above AEW in the ratings. It's proving to be a tough time for NXT at this stage. I think AEW is going to stick around for quite some time with the talent they have. And Morgan's third question: favorite figure of the year. It's really tough to narrow it down to one. I'm only going to judge the figures that I own as of now. I don't think it's fair if I pick one that I don't have, but out of the ones that I've gotten this year, I definitely have to say for Elites, that King Mabel, top notch. So much unique sculpting, just looks perfect. The likeness is spot on. I also think they've done a great job with the Ultimate Edition figures that have come in this year. I think apart from Bret Hart, who has a few minor issues, he still looks really awesome. Any of them, I can happily say is my favorite figure of the year. Finn Balor has so much detail. Ronda Rousey, just perfect. Ultimate Warrior, Triple H, all amazing figures. And the final question from Morgan, this is a really, really good and really tough one. If you could open one of any figure that you own and get a replacement mint on card one, what figure would you open and why? Man, there are so many answers I could give you for this. If I have to narrow it down, I can only narrow it down to two. First one would be Shawn Michaels Elite Series 7, because I'd only really just started collecting mint on card when I got that figure, and that was still at the stage where I had an urge to open them. And ever since, every time I look at it, I wonder how would it be if I had it loose. And yeah, what a great figure that is. And the second one, Elite Series 12 Kane / Hall of Champions Kane, just amazing figure, and yeah, one that I think any collection should have. I've seen a lot of loose collections with that in it, and it stands out in every single one. Thank you for the questions, Morgan. Those are really good. And our next question comes from Vince. Oh, he's actually asked two questions. First one: how old were you when you started to wrestle in WXW? Now, I've been in WXW for just over 3 years, I think, maybe 3.5 years. That would have made me 15. I would have just turned 15 when I started WXW, when it was still just a trampoline. But yeah, since then, it's really changed a lot. Next question. It is a really tough one. What's your least favorite move to take from your opponent? I've been thinking about this a lot, and there aren't many that come to mind, to be honest. But one that definitely gives me a lot of trouble, and I have to say that this is it. The super kick from Zack Attack, man, that just comes out from anywhere. Sometimes you don't even see it coming. I've ate a few of those, to be honest. So that's probably that's the least fun one to take, at least at this point anyway. Thank you so much for the questions. Our next lot of questions comes from PreHulk. I really hope I pronounced your name right, and I'm really sorry if I mispronounced it. You have some really good questions in there. First one: what's your favorite wrestler of all time and currently of all time? Undertaker. Full stop. Currently, I'd probably still have to say Zack Ryder. Man, I've been on his side since Z True Long Island Story Days in 2011, and I just can't get enough of him. Every time he's on Raw, and I see it, I pop really hard. Yeah, very, very big fan of Zack Ryder, and that's even before I found out that he was a figure fan, figure collector. So when I found that out, that just made it even sweeter for me. Second one, what's your favorite action figure from your collection? I'll quickly show you. Favorite figure in my collection definitely goes to this guy, the San Diego Comic-Con 2010 exclusive Undertaker figure. Kind of relates to your first question. I don't think Mattel will ever be able to top this. Amazing packaging, just overall, what a release. And his third question, how does it feel having such a huge collection of cards, action figures, etc.? Now, I really appreciate that you think that I do have a huge collection. It means a lot, it really does. Honestly, I don't feel like, it doesn't really feel like I have a big collection at all because it's come along so gradually since I started in 2011. It's been nearly 9 years. It's like slowly one figure at a time. It's been like so gradual that, yeah, doesn't seem that big to me. It just seems normal. So, especially compared to some of the other collections that you can find on the internet, I'm sure a lot of you have seen some of the collections I'm referring to. There's some amazing ones in there. And as far as cards go, honestly, I don't think I have a very big card collection either. I've only really been seriously back into the game for the last year or so. But I suppose for what I've gotten in a year, it's not too bad, but I wouldn't necessarily go ahead and call it huge. But I really do appreciate that you think so. It does mean a lot. It really does. And his final question, what do you do besides this channel? I do work in parts unknown, I guess you could say. Nah, in all seriousness, I do have a job. I'd rather not say where. I've been there for about 2 years now. I may be leaving that soon, I'm not sure, but I feel more comfortable talking about it once I'm not there. So I guess we'll follow up on that soon, I guess. Apart from that, currently I'm working on WXW cards. That is taking up a lot of my time at the moment. Still not completely done with that. Still got quite a lot of work to go for that. I also edit the WXW posters, working on the next live show poster right now. It seems weird because I have a YouTube channel, but I'm kind of a bit more of a private person, which definitely seems weird, but yeah, just family time, I suppose. But yeah, I hope that answers your question well enough. Thank you so much for all of your questions. Now, our next lot of questions comes from the bro Waiheke, ripping Y Stories today. I love this shirt. I wear it all the time. Now, yeah, shout out to him. Definitely check out his channel if you haven't already. Card up here. First question from him. Do you follow any NZ wrestling promotions? I do follow a few on Facebook and Instagram and whatnot. I feel like the best one that I follow as far as social media goes is SPW. They do the best job on social media with sharing results and pictures and promoting and whatnot. And their special on TVNZ Duke earlier this year was incredible. I absolutely loved that. To see a New Zealand wrestling company on TV was just surreal to me. I know Waiheke is a big fan of SPW as well. Second question, who's your favorite wrestler wrestling regularly overseas? This is a tough one because is WWE included? Because since they're overseas, or are you just referring to indie wrestlers? If it's indie wrestlers, I really don't know because I haven't been keeping up with that as well as I should be. If it's WWE, of course, I said Zack Ryder earlier, but if not him, tough. I do really like Seth Rollins. Always been a fan of his. Man, that's a tough one. Yeah, I'm sorry, bro. I can't really answer your question as well as I would have liked to. And his third question, who is your favorite wrestler wrestling regularly nationally? No question, Jamie the Skyflyer O'Hagan, aka Jay Hagan from WXW. He just became a pro wrestler over the past year. He made his debut in July. Unfortunately, it fell on the same day as WXW Live 6. I really want to go see one of his matches. I was hoping to see his debut, but I'm sure he'll be sticking around for quite some time. Number 4 if you were to do a custom wrestler of me, what parts would you use? Now, this was actually the toughest question, I must say, out of everything. I've really had to think about this one. I've had a look back at all the figures released over the past couple of years, to see what parts would be suitable. If it's just regular clothes, I've used like a Dean Ambrose body before, for the pants, and then if you have to paint it if necessary, it's just a perfect body mold in my opinion. And for Waiheke, I honestly think it's pretty funny because The Rock is Waiheke's favorite superstar of all time. I think The Rock has the best likeness, at least from the figures that have been released in the past 2 years. A younger Rock head sculpt when he had the full head of hair, like the Defining Moments one that I have sitting over there. The head sculpt from that, and his body mold. I'd remove his tattoo, of course, on his Brahma Bull tattoo on the right arm, and then for lower, I'd probably just use Dean Ambrose legs. And of course, to top it all off, I'd do what I have done with the other custom figures, a custom t-shirt. I think this Y Stories one would look really cool on a figure, but just, I guess, whatever you prefer. And this kind of relates to the fifth question. Do you think you could actually make one of me mint on card that I could purchase? Absolutely, bro. I'd love to make a figure of yours. I'm with how occupied I am with the WXW cards and all that right now. I'm unable to find the time to make it right now. I'm currently taking a commission for a Chris Anderson figure, and then Johnny Gold's next in line behind that. But I'd absolutely love to make a figure of yours. You'd be next in line, if you're happy with that. And I'd like to get your opinion on the parts as well. What do you think? Are you happy with what I decided? I think making a Waiheke figure would be a lot of fun. Maybe I could dig deeper into it. Maybe there's a Jack's head sculpt that has a better likeness for Waiheke. I'm not actually sure, but I would really love to make a Waiheke figure. That would be a lot of fun. Thank you so much for your questions, bro. I hope those answers were good enough. And our final lot of questions comes from another good friend of mine, AJ's Wrestling Review from Australia. He also has a YouTube channel. He has some really cool reviews up, and we're looking to possibly collab real soon. So check out his channel if you'd like. He's got some really cool content on there. He needs some more subscribers. His first question, man, this has got to be one of the best questions of the day. If you could go back in time and book The Undertaker in WCW during the late 90s, what would you do with him? Man, the possibilities are endless, man. But the name that immediately comes to mind is Sting. If Undertaker were to keep that dead man character going into WCW, or something like that anyway, then Undertaker and Sting would be insane. Sting in his prime versus Undertaker. Wow. Just the thought of that is insane. And another one, Goldberg, if they were to do that match 20 years ago, I don't think the match would have actually been that much different 20 years ago. A lot of people blame it on age as to how the match turned out in Saudi Arabia, but Goldberg even said it himself. He's still green as a wrestler. He was still making the same mistakes 20 years ago, running his head into the post on accident, busting himself open, giving him concussion, just like he did in Saudi Arabia. That's what made that match go downhill. The match itself probably wouldn't be that pretty if it would happen 20 years ago either, but that would also be like a really high in demand match that would sell a lot of tickets and make WCW a lot of money. So I think Goldberg or Sting definitely up there. Man, there's so many things you could do with Undertaker. That is such a good question. Second question, what is your favorite wrestling video game of all time? The first one I ever played was 2011 SmackDown vs. Raw, so I can only really speak from that point onwards. 2K14, hands down, my favorite game, the best game that I've ever played for wrestling. So many things you can do on it. Defeat the Streak, 30 years of WrestleMania, special referee mode, create a finisher was still a thing back then. Man, so many things that are no longer in the wrestling games now. That was such a fun game, and I miss it a lot. Thinking about 2K14 really makes me wish that I still had a PS3, because I'd still be jamming that today. What a video game. I think if you haven't played it yet and you have a PS3, you won't regret it. I'm sure you find it cheap enough now anyways. Now, number 3. This is the question that I've been waiting to ask for a long time. What do you think of the current state of the WWE product nowadays, and how does this stack up against previous eras? Now, I could go on all day about this subject, but I don't want to. As I kind of stated earlier, I haven't been watching WWE in their main program for at least the last 6 months, and the feeling that I get when I tune into Raw, SmackDown, or pay-per-views or whatever is that they have no direction at all. It seems like no one backstage knows what they're doing. They don't know what they hope to achieve. Seems like they're just throwing random matches left and right. It's really hard to keep up with. And with 3 hours of Raw, 3 hours of SmackDown, 2 hours of NXT, and 4 hours of a pay-per-view every week, or some weeks of pay-per-view, it's just too much. I can't keep up with it anymore. I'll still watch the highlights of Raw and SmackDown occasionally, but man, even then, I don't really care that much. I didn't watch TLC the other day. I tried to get back into it when SmackDown moved to Fox, and I was enjoying it for the first couple weeks there, but fell off real quick. It's just really hard to follow when their rosters are stacked to the brim, to the point where they don't have enough time to get each character across, introduce them slowly before they have to cycle them out to have another new superstar. And it's just too much. It seems like they have no direction at the moment. I don't want to babble on any longer. I see it's already been going quite a long time. I hope that's the answer that you were looking for. That's why I haven't really been keeping up with it lately. Glad that you asked that, because I've been dying to talk about it a bit on here. So yeah, thank you so much for all of your questions. Man, those questions were fun to answer. Thank you guys so much for the questions. Now, as far as the giveaway goes, I've changed my mind. Every one of you guys who asked questions today will be getting a free pack of the WXW Trading Cards. Just leave your Instagram or Twitter handle down below and I'll shoot you a message on there. You have to tell me whether it's Instagram or Twitter. With Wyheck here, Morgan and AJ, I of course am already in contact with you guys, but for the others, please leave your handles down below and I can contact you guys through there for delivery details and whatnot. Thank you guys so much for sticking through to this part of the video. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I had a lot of fun. That's the most fun I've had making a video in quite some time. Thank you guys for making this so fun for me. I hope to see you guys before Christmas, but if I don't see you before then, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and we'll see you all next time.